Well, each week a group of insiders joins me to offer perspective on some of the week's top stories. This week sounding off on the 2019 Indiana General Assembly. Indiana Forward has launched a campaign for a comprehensive hate crimes bill. Plus, how about those Colts? Our insiders this week are Stand for Children Indiana Executive Director Justin Ohlmiller. Also, UIndy's Associate Professor of Finance Matt Will. And WGU Advancement President Allison Barber. And welcome one and all to the Insiders for another edition. And we start off with some of the hot button issues at the Indiana State House. Educators, one and all, here on the Insiders this week. And teacher pay continues to be a big issue. This is a budget writing session, and everyone wondering where's the money going to come from. Justin, I'll start with you. Teacher pay, everybody says, hey, that's a big issue. We're really going to be laser focused on it. What do you see happening?
Yeah, well, that's like the question is, what is going to happen at the end of the session? And I think credit the legislators. You see Democrats, you see Republicans saying the same thing. We want to definitely shift more money to teacher pockets for sure. The key is really what's going to happen in terms of those real dollars. I mean, the challenge we face is Indiana teachers are making 17% less than their other college-going careers. There's a massive need for this. I think the other key, though, is what beyond teacher pay is also important. The field itself is a challenge. We're not attracting the best and the brightest into the field. We're not keeping them in the field. It's going to take more than just pay. It's going to be about building career ladders and advancement opportunities for educators, as well as looking at preparation and making sure that we're sending young people into the classroom that are prepared to succeed early and also stay there. So I think it's a multifaceted approach. I will credit the legislature for taking that approach. They've got 3 bills that focus on those 3 different buckets: preparation, career ladders, as well as pay. Right now, though, we're sort of falling short, though, on the pay side. We don't see real money going in to teacher pockets with the current bills that are being debated. My hope is that that changes.
Allison, as you look at it, teacher pay rewarding or just bringing teachers up to where perhaps they should be. But then there's also this teacher shortage issue that really exacerbates it.
Well, I think that's at WGU. We're fortunate to be the largest teacher school in the state of Indiana. But what we see with teachers, and this is something we were talking about, our teachers are in their 30s and 40s, and we just enrolled a teacher. She's getting ready to graduate. She's 62. So what do we know about teachers is they feel like it's a calling and it's their mission and they want to do it. So our students at WGU have always wanted to be teachers. They finally have found an affordable pathway to be a teacher. So pay increase is important and we support it, but we know our people are committed and they have a desire to be in the classroom, and an increase in pay may not make a difference.
You know, the shortage issue, though, that's a labor shortage issue across the spectrum that we have in Indiana. You know, we are at beyond full employment now, so there's more people, more job opportunities out there than people looking for jobs. So I would challenge the legislature to look beyond simply money. And I think quality of life, quality of community and environment, those things are just as important to attracting people to Indiana than it is just offering them more dollars.
Yeah, well, I would also just challenge the legislature to listen to educators themselves. I mean, they're going to tell you what it's going to take. And I would say the top 3 issues really are, I mean, no pay is not driving teachers to the profession, but it makes a difference when they start having a family and start figuring out what they need to do next. So pay is an issue, career ladders as well, advancement as well as preparation. Those are the 3 things we're hearing consistently from educators that they want addressed in order to stem this tide of teachers leaving.
Another issue at the Indiana State House promises perhaps to be a hot button issue, and that's potential hate crimes legislation. A coalition, Indiana Forward, was announced this week, a broad-based coalition from around the state, some 700 companies, nonprofits, faith organizations, and others behind this push for hate crimes legislation. Indiana, one of 5 states without comprehensive hate crimes legislation. A human issue, but a lot of people say it's a business issue, a talent issue as well.
It is, and it's just the right thing to do, and the time is now in Indiana. It's maybe past time for us to address this and move on. And it is a workforce and talent issue. People look at where they want to move, where do they want to bring their families, and this is an indicator of how do we value people. And so we support this move.
I feel like it's another issue that's bringing back up the old days of RFRA and the really toxic environment that was created through that, I think, ill-fated legislation. And so I think there's an opportunity for Indiana to get it right. They finally say, no, that was a mistake, that we're not this kind of state. And so my hope is that this is passed with overwhelming support.
One, it's going to be certainly debated a lot at the Indiana State House. Also on the political side of things, we have a candidate for mayor of Indianapolis on the Republican side. Longtime State Senator Jim Merritt announced this week that he will seek the Republican nomination. Your thoughts?
You know, in the city of Indianapolis, you know, the people have thought, well, a Democrat is now a shoe-in for all eternity into the mayor's position. But I think Jim Merritt's probably the one guy that's got a shot at it. You know, he was talking about infrastructure, potholes. You know, he wants to be the guy who's going to be in charge of the Department of Public Works and is going to make the buses run on time and the roads get fixed. And so I think he's got a real shot at it. It's interesting, though, because Democrats are usually on the, you know, the let's community police side, and the current mayor is more of the, you know, law enforcement side. And I think Jim Merritt has an opportunity to kind of beat him on his left flank relative to being in the community.
Justin, you think it can be a competitive race?
I mean, if you're looking at the one candidate that could put the heat on the Democrats, I think Jim Merritt is reputable. He can raise money. He's obviously, you know, won several campaigns, and he's got some name ID out there. So, I mean, to me, it does speak to the fact that there's a legitimate candidate that's going to run to try to make it competitive. I think the key is, like, really has the city reached a point where it is just too heavily Democrat on the trend side. It's also an off-year election, though, so that electorate is different in a mayor's race as well, so it's important to keep in mind.
Yeah. Big news, kind of the global scene, if you will, this week with the announcement that an Indiana-Israeli collaboration is targeting innovation. And Allison, this was a memorandum of understanding that was signed last year when Governor Holcomb, Secretary Schellinger visited Israel. You hear about these all the time, and they really usually don't amount to much. This is really focused on fostering innovation here in Indiana and in Israel.
Yes, and it takes Indiana to the global scene and the global marketplace, which is really terrific leadership from IEDC and Jim and the governor. And it's got teeth to it. You know, it's not just a great idea and a handshake. There is a way ahead for us to work with Israel as it relates to the cyberspace and agrobioscience. And that's right in our sweet spot, and I think Indiana's ready for it, and I think the work that we're doing in Israel is very, very promising.
You know, there's a reason the rest of the country is jealous of Indiana's government and business partnership that we've had, because we keep getting real investment. You know, foreign direct investment in Indiana on a per capita basis is the highest in the country, and we continue to play on that strength where we get the rest of the world coming to Indiana, whether it's Canada, Mexico, Japan, or now Israel. What a great partnership.
We'll run out of time here, but Lilly announced a big acquisition, $8 billion, a cancer company, Loxo Oncology, continuing their move to collaborate and acquire.
You know, I've said in the past, Lilly has three expertise: R&D, marketing, and acquisitions. They've really perfected this. They are the leader in the pharmaceutical industry when it comes to acquiring other companies, and this is just another example of them leading the pack.
Yeah. Colts, we have 30 seconds to go. Now, as we tape this show, some of you watching, the game will be over. Some, it will not have been played yet. But regardless of what happens, the Colts seem to be back.
It's great.
And that's good for the city.
It's great for the city. We're proud of our team. They've really made great progress, and they're going to win.
Yeah.
January.
Okay, a prediction.
Yeah, January is so much better when the Colts are playing, and so just different environment. The weekends, just tremendously hopeful for this weekend.
Okay,
You know,
you predicted before the season they'd make a deep run in the playoffs.
On this show, you got a tape of it. I want to see it up on the screen.
All right, we'll look for that. Matt Will, also Allison Barber and Justin Oldmiller. Thank you, one and all. And we'll be right back after this.